You know, I don't know what it is with Microsoft, but I feel like recently they just like dropping major bombshells in the middle of the night. So I apologize for the late night upload, but this is serious news. Let's talk about it. Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Games. Today we have a very interesting tweet just randomly in the evening of February 20th, 2023 from the president and vice chair of Microsoft, Brad Smith, following up on what I made a video about back in December, where Phil Spencer and Microsoft basically said there was a gentleman's agreement basically to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms if the Microsoft Activision Blizzard buyout goes through. Well, now they've made it official, which we'll get to, with a legal binding contract. So let's read the tweets and the image that Brad Smith tweeted out here in the almost middle of the night. We've now signed a binding 10-year contract to bring Xbox games to Nintendo gamers. This is just a part of our commitment to bring Xbox games and Activision titles like Call of Duty to more players on more platforms. And then this is what the image reads, and the wording here is actually a little different, which I want to get to. Microsoft and Nintendo have now negotiated and signed a binding 10-year legal agreement to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo players, the same day as Xbox, with full feature and content parity, so they can experience Call of Duty just as Xbox and PlayStation gamers enjoy Call of Duty. We are committed to providing long-term equal access to Call of Duty to other gaming platforms, bringing more choice to more players and more competition to the gaming market. So, the first thing that we fully need to address here is the fact that Microsoft does not own Call of Duty. They are currently trying to buy Activision Blizzard and with it the Call of Duty IP, however that deal has not gone through. The CMA and all these different regional companies and governments and all that, they're trying to block the deal. The deal has not gone through. I'm not a legal expert. I don't know all the legalese behind why the deal hasn't gone through and all that. Microsoft has the money. Activision wants to be bought. However, Sony especially and all these other things are trying to block the buyout. So it's really weird to me that they signed a binding contract with Nintendo already when they don't own the product. This is obviously Microsoft trying to nudge in the way of making it seem like a more favorable thing for the entire gaming kind of, landscape gaming industry for them to buy Activision. This is them making it seem indisputable that them buying Activision is good for the industry, whereas Sony has been trying to say it'll give Microsoft an unfair advantage. So I don't really want to get into all that. That doesn't really interest me. I'm sure the deal is going to go through. That's my stance on it. I'm pretty sure it's going to go through. But I want to talk about this tweet. So we knew, based on what Phil Spencer, I think it was Phil Spencer, one of the Xbox heads, Microsoft heads, said back in December, we knew that they were planning on bringing Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms. We didn't know to what extent, though, so this really clears that up. They say specifically, we are going to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo players the same day as Xbox with full feature and content parity so they can experience Call of Duty just as Xbox and PlayStation gamers enjoy Call of Duty. So there was a lot of fear that it'd be like Call of Duty Mobile or like Warzone Mobile. That's not the case. I would still say there's enough leeway in the wording of this image that it could theoretically be a cloud version of those games, because getting Call of Duty to run on Switch as it stands right now would be nigh impossible. That's also worth noting, though. They don't say Switch at all. This could be Nintendo's next generation hardware that they're aiming for. Starting from there, that'd be the 10-year point. That could be what's going on. So we'll have to wait and see what they do with Call of Duty, which, I mean, that in of itself is an absolute win. If you have a Switch, listen, people are always going to want to play Call of Duty on PC and PS4 and Xbox. PS4, I don't know why I said PS4. Well, maybe a lot of people still play on PS4. PlayStation. And it's going to be graphically better, and it's going to run better, and that's going to be the ideal place to play. Having Call of Duty on Nintendo platforms is a huge deal. I mean, Call of Duty was on the Wii and DS, and it sold gangbusters there too. It doesn't necessarily matter if it's a worse version graphically, if it runs worse. Obviously, if they can get, that working all nicely, that'll be great. The reality is, even Nintendo's next generation hardware probably won't be powerful enough to match the PS5 because it will probably be a handheld. But if they're offering feature and content parity, that is huge. That means we're gonna get the annual release on Nintendo platforms, future platforms, maybe Switch, probably not, probably the future thing, right? And that's crazy, because like I said, a lot of people thought it would be Call of Duty Mobile, which I honestly would have still been okay with. However, I do want to talk about the rest of his tweet, which has different wording than the image he puts in the tweet. Brad Smith, we've now signed a binding 10-year contract to bring Xbox games to Nintendo's gamers. This is just part of our commitment to bring Xbox games and Activision's titles like Call of Duty to more players on more platforms. So I've seen a lot of people trying to say like, oh, what's going on here? What does this mean? Did he just kind of misspeak or mistype? I don't really know how you do that with such an important tweet like this. Is he implying something like Halo or Gears of War or Forza would come to Switch or future Nintendo console? I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't be in the image that he put in the tweet if that's not what they meant. Because if you don't know, Microsoft already brings their games to Nintendo platforms. We're getting Minecraft Legends, we got Minecraft Dungeons, Cuphead is on Switch, they own that. So I don't know if this tweet means something more than that. Like Halo, which, I mean, we've been talking about Halo on Switch since 2017, I feel like. There was definitely rumors of that back in the day. I don't know if we're talking about that, or if he's just talking about the stuff they already do, like Minecraft, Cuphead, and then Call of Duty on top of it. I would imagine they also say Activision titles like Call of Duty. You would assume any future Crash games or Spyro games would still come to Switch. That just makes sense. It's really interesting, you know, Microsoft's being very competitive, trying to get this deal to go through so that they can bolster their Game Pass lineup. I don't know what their end-game plan is, because that's absolutely not going to be profitable, putting Call of Duty on that. But it's really interesting to see their strategy and how, I mean, I won't lie, it does come off as a little desperate trying to get this through. I'm not opposed to them owning Activision. I think it for the end consumer, absolutely, it is just a win. PlayStation won't get their freaking exclusive skins early anymore. Who cares, right? It would be a win for pretty much everybody involved. But just publicly doing stuff like this, like, oh, we signed a contract for something we don't even own. Please let the deal go through. I don't know, it's just a little funny to me. But I mean, hey, if this means more Call of Duty or any Call of Duty on Nintendo platforms, but also just more Xbox games like Halo, like Gears, like Forza, even if they're lesser versions, because obviously the hardware isn't there, that's a huge deal. So we'll have to wait and see what this actually means, what this means for Call of Duty, which this definitely painted a better picture of that. Hopefully it's not cloud. Still seems like maybe the wording could allow that a little bit. And more importantly, I think what's more interesting is the general Xbox games term. Are we within the next 5 years going to see the Halo Master Chief Collection on the Switch 2? I don't think it's unlikely if this tweet is to be taken at face value, which is really exciting. So let me know, what do you think of all this information down in the comments below? This is crazy news. Like I said, they dropped this in the middle of the night almost, or at the end of the day, which is also kind of weird. I don't know why they did that. So yeah, let me know what you think of this down in the comments below. If this were to happen, which Xbox IP franchises would you like to see come to the Nintendo Switch? I just thought of one. Put Hi-Fi Rush on Switch. That game is fantastic. Would be a pretty good fit too, I feel like, just the, you know, cartoony art style. So yeah, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. Of course, if you enjoy videos like this, I post each and every day covering Nintendo news and topics, so subscribe here for that, like the video, follow me on Twitter @BoTalksGames, and until next time, folks, bye-bye!